Does picking an outfit have you running a little too fashionably late? We get it. Great taste takes time. That's why Drizzly, the #1 app for alcohol delivery, has your back with the largest selection of beer, wine, and spirits, delivered in under 60 minutes. Convenience never goes out of style. So if you need to spend some extra time in the mirror instead of at the store, download the Drizzly app or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com today.
Well, you guys, listen, guys. This is an amazing day. Well, first of all, it's ImmaLetYouFinish.
Hello.
Court and Amy.
Hi.
We're 50 today.
If we were humans, we would have our AARP magazine in the mail, and they start sending you brochures for funeral plots when you turn 50. Did you get that?
And wait, and discounts at hotels that you might never stay at. But
exactly.
This also marks our 2nd year anniversary. We are 2 years old.
2 years old.
We're 50 years old.
Wait a minute. 50 shows,
right,
2 years old.
Yes.
50 shows, 2 years old. Yeah.
But the best part is...
Hold for it.
We are part of a new podcast network. We have a new podcast family.
We have a new daddy.
We
and
do.
Mommy. Yay.
We are now part of Pantheon Podcast Network, which is a network full of really smart music people. It's a music-based network and shows and all these great scripted shows, every kind of music. You want to find a subject, there's a show on this network.
You got everything.
It's there. Scripted, like everything. And then us. Us little losers. We're their minority hire. We filled a quota. We don't know how we ended up with these smart people, but here we are.
And we're very excited because along with we are now in the same company with 2 of our favorite podcasts, which is the delicious Who Cares About the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, which is literally hilarious and funny, and Rock's Back Pages. 2 podcasts that have been very supportive of us
from the beginning.
From the beginning, and we are going to return the favor. But
absolutely,
no, we are just over the.
We also have to give out to a shout out. You know what? This is our 50th show. That's exactly who I was about to say.
Jarrell.
We have to give a shout out to Jarrell and his podcast. Well, it's above the
behind the album cover.
Yeah, listen.
Ride or die, baby.
He has supported our show. Please support his show. Please support Rock Back Pages. Listen, we are really excited to be part of Pantheon. We are now going to be recording this show. We're getting all new equipment. We're going to be recording a high-res audio. We're going to have more guests. We have a special guest on this show coming up in the second half hour, Bill Coleman of Peace Biscuit and now the Red Hot organization. We're going to talk about the new Red Hot album. And he now is the host of his own radio show on Sirius XM channel 312 on Andy Cohen's Kiki Lounge every Friday night from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. Your summer is about to be fierce and music driven, and it repeats from 2 a.m. to 5 a.m. So Bill is about to have you all dancing and having you lit.
This is the people we're rolling with now, people. Okay? These are the people we rolled with the best, and we're rolling better. Okay.
And we really want to say thank you to Peter and Christian for really welcoming us to the Pantheon family. And really, guys, like 2 years ago when we started this show, we tried everywhere. The places that are like free and take people, we're thinking,
we were knocking on random strangers' door going, hi, how you doing? Do you have a studio? Do you mind if we come in here?
Right. Can we do this show? And it's like, we're both thinking, well, we know enough people and we have, our resumes are pretty legit. We should be able to do this. And, so we have to say thank you to Peter Oasis and Ryan over at Listening Party because they said yes. And because they said yes, this show kept going.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And let's thank
and we really have to thank our friend Ann Christoph, who really, I came to Ann and said, I really want to do a podcast. I think I've been trying to figure out since I've retired from the music industry and being an executive on that side, I don't know what to do. I couldn't figure it out. And she really kind of put the wheels in motion, and she actually found Listening Party. We tried so many different people that said no. And this is a lesson for all of you. I don't care how old you are, how young you are. There could be 50 million no's. That one yes could be the thing that puts you on your path. So never give up and don't stop. And thank you, Ann, because in those early days, she didn't say no, and she found somebody to say yes. And now here we are at Pantheon. We're so excited to be there. We're going to have guests more. We're going to really get into some of our favorite music and albums, but you guys know. And for the Pantheon listeners and the listeners who maybe for the first time are going to be hearing us, let's tell them how they find Pantheon.
Oh, yes, please do.
Please follow.
Small detail.
Yeah, small detail. If you first of all, we're still in all of our places that everybody listens to us. But now we're in so many more places, including Pandora and everywhere. And you can go to pantheon.com and we'll be on that main page with the other shows. There's like 70 shows. We're really excited. And please follow Pantheon there on the Pantheon Podcast Network, Music Network, on Facebook, on Instagram, follow Twitter, us on Facebook, Twitter, everything. We're really, really excited. We're going to be able to talk about it more in a couple of weeks and just really get it popping. But thank you to all of the ride or dies, day one, Sydney, Gina, all of the people I know who've listened, Stephanie, from day one of the show and never miss it. And never miss a show. You do, though. You're the one who's always like, do you know who listens to our show? And you'll be like, blah, blah, blah. Well, and I'm like, whoa, really? They listen to our crazy show?
I do have, and I have some, before we get into the show, I have some exciting news for you, Courtney Anderson. I just received an email that the Pet Shop Boys New Order Tour is officially rescheduled, and it's coming to Brooklyn and Manhattan in September.
They already had the Manhattan date, and that was sold out, I believe. We need.
Oh, I'm working on it. I'm working on it.
We need to be in there. So guys, we're back. We're excited. Amy's working on tickets that we gotta have.
I'm working on it. Trust me. I've got cards I'm going to start pulling out of my.
Because let me just tell you something.
Wherever I pull cards out of, I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to pull them out. I'm also, I'll get back to you on this. Trust me, the wheels are in motion already.
Sure. So speaking of pull it out.
What?
Do you think our Knicks can pull it out?
No.
Do you think they can pull it out?
Let me just say something.
Because I have a theory too. Let's go.
Oh, what? That rat-faced, bad hair, Trey.
Now.
He looks like a rat. He moves like a bunny. He's amazing, but he looks like a rat, and I don't like the faces that he makes, and I don't like all his this, and he looks like a rat. Okay.
So I was not going to start off the new show by saying that his face looks like a rat, that is a very interesting approach.
No, he looks like a rodent. To me, I'm not going to say he looks good. He's the enemy.
Oh my God.
He is the enemy. You know who he kind of, okay, here's the vibe I'm getting off of him. I'm getting a black or a biracial Danny Ainge vibe off of him. Think about that for a second.
Okay. All right.
Do I think they can pull it out? All I know is that Julius Randle, white courtesy phone. Come on, baby. This is when we need you.
Well, this is what I think. Sometimes for some of these guys who have never been in this moment, Derrick Rose has been in the moment.
Phenomenal player.
These other guys haven't been in the moment, and him having to carry this team the way he did, to me, this season is a win, because what it did was no one at the beginning of the year, not one person thought the Knicks would be here.
Not even James Dolan.
They were the joke, right?
Yeah.
So what this did was, I believe, showed people that the Knicks are serious again. Mm-hmm. Basketball in Manhattan is serious again. So this offseason will be very important because the truth of the matter is the Knicks do not have all the pieces they need. No. RJ needs to step the fuck up. This is your second year. This is about to be your third year. You need to be able to shoot the ball. Watching them pass, and nobody's shooting and having open shots that they did not take in that game cost them that game.
Right.
And
I'm sorry. I was going to say, everybody also has to stop being so impressed with the three-pointer.
Because you're right there. And take, you know what I'm saying? You have to take the shot. You can't be looking to pass to Julius to take every shot. Take the shot. You're there to take the shot. I'm happy for the Nets because, you know what? I'm not a Nets fan, but I want basketball to continue deep into the playoffs. That energy in New York is good for the city. Mm-hmm. So that I'm not going to be like, I don't want to see them go far. And guess what? As much money as they paid and the way they stacked that team, y'all better go far in the playoffs. You better be in the finals. You need to win the whole thing. I know. Because we keep hearing about all these guys. They put you together. Coming home with the chip is the only acceptable answer at this point.
Yeah, they're the poor man's Miami Heat, basically, at this point, when they got all those guys together. It's like Miami Heat with bad Basquiat imitation. Right. Pandering.
I like Bullock, though. I like him.
Who?
Bullock. I like him.
Oh, yeah.
I do. I like him.
No, I'm talking about the Nets with their pandering uniforms. Bullock, I got no problem.
Oh, my God, but I can't even talk about you. I hate the Knick uniform.
The Knick uniform. Well, anyway, we're going way off. I don't know if they can pull it off, but I exactly agree with you 100% that the point is that they weren't supposed to be here in the first place, that they're here is a fucking triumph, that they're playing, that New York City is excited by basketball again is a good thing. And that it's a good thing for New York. It's a good thing for my mental health. It's a good thing for the NBA because, as LeBron said, I'm paraphrasing, if the Knicks are good, it's good for the NBA. We are still a prestige team, even though we sucked up until 6 months ago.
Madison Square Garden is called the Mecca. There have been amazing games in that place. Mm-hmm. We want to still have amazing games in that place. And what the Knicks showed this year is they have guys with heart, but they don't have all the talent that they need. They just don't. So I do feel there's some pieces that need to be moved in this offseason and some things that they know that they need to bring in. And RJ has to get better. He just
All right. What do you want to shift over to?
Well, let's talk about what's happening with Naomi and the French Open. It's like, what do you think?
All right, I'm very torn on this, and then we'll get into we'll get a little more musical. But this is something that's important. All right, I'm very torn on this. On one hand, part of her contractual, she has a job. Okay, her job for whatever this is just. She is a professional athlete. Part of her job responsibility. I think they're ridiculous. These press conferences. I think that they serve no real purpose in a lot of ways. All this stuff could be done on the court, at least for her. This is not like Michael, she could do the interview on the court. But that's part of the gig. That's what she signed up for. She gets paid and earns a tremendous amount of money. She's unbelievably talented. So that is part of the job. She is dealing with real issues, real mental health issues. She is a kid. She is a kid who sort of came out of nowhere and took over the world. And
got famous very fast.
And we saw with that first that U.S. Open championship when she beat Serena, and everyone was rooting for Serena
and booing, and she's crying.
You could see how intense this is for her. All right, so my feeling is she should not have announced it on social media. She should have behind the scenes had a conversation with the organizers of the French Open, because for this to be played out on social media just takes a bad situation and makes it worse. It should have all been done. None of us should have known about it. It should have been her people going to them going, look, I'm having an episode. I'm having a hard time. Is there any way we could do this? And I think, so I see both sides. I understand why they're saying, hey, my friend, you have signed up for this as part of the gig. But I also understand why she needs to walk away. But I think they should have negotiated this before she started playing.
Well, I think her agents failed her a little bit, but here's the thing. I'm not going to blame her for putting that post because she's telling you I'm in distress. And when you're in a place operating from distress, you don't make the decision in a way that maybe you would when you're in a different state of mind, right? So her second statement really explained it more, and I felt for her. Now, the what I didn't like was the way it was handled on the side of the French Tennis Federation. They said they reached out to her after the first post and that neither her nor her people reached back out to them. I didn't think coming together and threatening her was a good way to handle that. I just did not think that was a go. Like these athletes are human beings. And what happened 5 minutes later, right? Coco Gauff is being asked some dumb, stupid questions after her match because some of the press that comes there and get to ask questions are weird and little tabloidy. It's very weird.
So like foreign press.
Yes,
too.
Yes, very, very weird. And then today, Petra Kvitova hurt herself. She is one of the top tennis champs in the world, and she is a Grand Slam winner. Hurt herself, finishing her obligated press conference.
That's funny, though. It's funny.
No, it's not, because now she's out of the tournament. That's not fun. That's not funny.
Ironic.
She's a top athlete. There's nothing funny about that. I feel like then you have the head of the French Tennis Federation come out and make his statement, and then the irony of irony is he refuses to answer any questions and leaves. It's like, guys.
Well, at the end of the day, I don't know. At the end of the day, I hope Naomi Osaka does well. She could certainly take a year off and she'll be fine. So, I mean, it's more important that she's healthy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the main important thing.
Absolutely.
That's the main thing, because she seems like a nice kid. Now, do we want to talk about anything? You want to talk about the Jay-Z thing? You want to talk about DMX? Because I did my homework. My homework. You gave me a homework assignment last night.
So what'd you think? So DMX has put out his final album. What'd you think?
It's really good.
Yeah,
listen. Really good. Now, I'm like you. All right. When's the last time you listened to a DMX record? That would be never.
I can't. It's been a long time.
A long time. And obviously, what I like about this record, first off, what I like about this record is that it's not a record that was cobbled together after he died. He was making this record. It's not like suddenly there's like, oh, this guy's going to be in here.
Oh, right. I'm going to finish the songs. And it's like, you mean the ones that he might
not have done in the first place? Right. So it feels like a DMX record, number one. Number two, it is such a New York record. Jesus Christ. I mean, it's like, I heard that they wanted Pop Smoke on one track, and then they have this, he died, so obviously they couldn't have him. So they have this other guy who, like Moneybag Yo, which is a stupid name, but that's neither here nor there. The kids.
I like Moneybag Yo.
It's like Moneybag Yo, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, don't do that.
But it's just such a New York sounding record. It's Swiss Beats producer. Swiss Beats has always been a great producer. He's always had and he's so obviously.
And the love between them.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Linked together.
They have real history. They have emotional history. They have professional history. I mean, he really is.
So basically, isn't it that Swiss did his first album and his last? Is that how this ends up bookending?
Yeah, and it's also just those New York voices. I mean, the Locks. Jesus Christ, that is a Jadakiss. You hear that and you're like, that's Jadakiss. I know who that is. The Jay-Z and the Nas track is really good, because the Jay-Z and Nas track, they have a track, on the Khaled record, which is just garbage. I mean, it's a garbage track that Jay-Z.
I don't get, like, we could have a whole show where I just go through where I just do not understand why everybody acts like those songs are great when he puts them out, and I'm like, we don't love
horrible,
these.
But
we love the people that are on his songs. We don't love those songs. Stop acting like you love them.
Well, and the thing is that obviously when Jay and Nas get together,
especially with the history, like
that's what always, I'm saying. Even though they're best friends now, it's still an event. It's still an event.
Well, it's the elder statesmen. Right. It's the two that people really hold in a very high regard.
Right.
Who still have something to say. Who still sound good when they have something to say.
Who still sounds good and still irrelevant, and are both still capable of knocking out a hit if they wanted to. They both. But the song.
Listen, Nas just won his first rap album of the year. He just won that.
Right.
You know what I mean? This year.
The Jay Nas DMX track, which is called, oh my God, what is it called? It's just Bath Salts. Bath Salts. Somewhat dated drug reference, but that's neither here. I don't think the kids are doing bath salts anymore. I think they've moved on to another brain melting drug.
No, because here's the thing: once it's there, no, they still do all that crazy.
Are they still doing the K2? Bless their hearts.
They're still doing that crazy.
But anyway, it's a really good song. But the album, I said the album is it would have worked if he was still alive. It makes it more poignant.
Pitchfork didn't really like it, but you know.
Oh, well, there you go.
But it's like, which is like, oh well.
Yeah, I liked it. Like I said,
the 23-year-old didn't like it.
Really? Who's DMX? I have no idea who that is. No, I mean, I just listened to it because Courtney assigned it to me, and I listened to it, and I went, I'm not mad at this. Am I going to listen to it all the time? No. You know, but I'm not mad at this. I've always liked Swiss Beats as a producer. Yeah. I've always liked Swiss Beats. And the other assignment Courtney gave to me was to listen to the Victoria Rodrigo album.
That would be Olivia Rodrigo.
Her too. I listened to both of them, Courtney.
They're twins.
They're twins. Olivia and Victoria. She seems like a Victoria to me.
They all can be a Victoria.
They're all a Victoria. Okay, so I listened to it because Courtney said, Amy, listen to the record. So I want you to say what you thought of that record first, since you assigned it to me.
I think that every generation has the girl who has that voice, who can give you singer-songwritery song, the girl in my room song, rock pop girl song, and it was actually much better than I expected, because I did not listen. Driver's License, you know, it was around, but to me, I'm a grown-ass man. So if there is a song and the title is Driver's License, I immediately am like,
I'm not listening.
Well, it's not for me, clearly. You know what I mean? So I kind of went into it with a little like, I listen to everything. Let me just hear the album. I put it on and I was like, oh.
Well, that first track, the first track is like, wait a minute, I thought you were like the mopey girl who lost her boyfriend getting her driver's license. The first track is like this kick-ass little punk rock pop song. And I'm like, okay, Miss Olivia, Victoria, Vanessa, whatever your name is.
I'm like, oh. Biggest
selling record of the year so far.
It's like, I don't hate this or you.
I don't hate this at all.
Thank you for getting my attention, America. Yeah. Hey, hello, American pop stars. Hello. If you write really good songs, and you don't put yourself into a box and decide you could just meld and make good music, people really enjoy that.
Well, you know what I also like about her too? Well, first off, that she's right. Yes. That's important. You know, she seems to be in control of that. And absolutely. I think you, like I, kind of went, oh, another one of these Disney girl, whatever. We weren't paying attention in a way. And again, Driver's License, who cares? That's like having a song called First Tampax. It doesn't relate. I don't relate to it anymore.
Right.
And I don't have a driver's license. But it's quite good. And and it's not dance pop, which we love the dance pop.
Listen, I love it, but we need the other girls too. Everybody can't just be dance pop. Because right now, Dua Lipa's giving us all we need.
That's all we need.
She's giving us all we need.
Everybody can just sit down. Everybody else, sit down.
Listen, if you're not coming if you're not besting that right now,
sit down.
Go figure it out.
Yeah, sit down until Charlie XCX wants to come back. You can all just take a nap.
Or the new Kylie Deluxe edition of Disco.
Right, but the young girls we're talking about. The young girls.
Kylie is young.
She
is eternally.
She's eternally young. But no, so I am pleasant. I am always best. The best thing is when I am like, because there are certain artists. Obviously, the new Fiona Apple record's going to be great.
Right.
The new. Jay, even if it sucks, it's going to be really good.
Right,
There's certain, but for a brand new, with all the hype, with all the this, that, and the other, I'm like, okay, nicely done, Victoria, Olivia. Whatever your name is. No, a really good record, and it sold over 285,000 copies the first week.
You know what else I appreciate about it?
Appreciate
that most of these songs are two writers. And I appreciate
her
that.
and somebody else.
Because if you look at most of these albums now, and the songs are literally 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and there are 18 people that it took to write that.
Well, there's one person that writes like the first three notes, and then there's a person who comes in to write the upper track, what they call the up line, and then there's a person to write the hook, and then there's the guy who delivers coffee, and they give him a credit because he said, "Here's your coffee," and someone goes, "Here's my coffee," and that becomes it's a bit much.
I honestly feel like that is why this is a cohesive body of work.
Yep.
Because she is writing on every song. Yeah. And it is, you just get a more cohesive body of work, you know? And
it's also nice, Jack Antonoff did not produce this, right?
Well, he's on one song.
Okay, because
they did what I step forward, 3 steps back. One step forward, 3 steps back.
Right. It is nice.
Taylor Swift and Jack wrote that.
It is really nice that other middle-aged white men are getting a chance to make hit records too. Because Jack Antonoff is just sucking up all the air for the mildly attractive middle-aged white men who only work with nubile women.
Well, Dan Nigro he produced this album, and he co-wrote the songs with her.
I know that name. Why do I know that name? Dan Nigro. He's been around for a minute, right?
He was the former lead singer and the guitarist for the group As Tall as Lions. Do you remember that group, As Tall as Lions?
No.
And
that would be a no.
But he's also produced Carly Rae Jepsen, Louis Capaldi.
Oh God, I love Carly Rae Jepsen.
We can do a whole show on Carly Rae Jepsen.
Please, I don't know.
Let me just tell you
why isn't she big?
The most underrated in the United States. Her albums are great.
So good.
Now, you want to talk about good, well-written, well-produced, well-crafted, and she's got a cult following here. Like she does shows here, and they sell out. But to me, it's another shame of American radio that they gave her "Call Me Maybe" and ignored. Really, her work is so not.
I like her a lot too.
She's
and you would think having Scooter Braun as your manager, he could like threaten somebody or something, allegedly. All right. What else you got? What else we got that we were going to say? Music.
Well, I think it is time to introduce our guest.
Yes.
And let's give him a proper introduction. So, boom, 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 boom. Ladies and gentlemen, kids of all ages.
Really?
It's certain people are multi-hyphenates, right? And we're multi-hyphenates. We know a lot of multi-hyphenates. I don't even know how to describe all of the things that Bill does, because he is a writer, he's a producer, he's a business owner, he's a manager, he's a music supervisor, he's now a radio personality, he's still a current and active DJ playing all over the place. I've played with him in different places and all over the place. He's an A&R person. We have the amount of work we have from my Music World days to now, we could probably put out 2 Solange remix albums, Michelle and Kelly remix albums. We could probably do a volume set of Beyonce remixes of the ones that just didn't even make it.
Right.
So there's so much to talk about. And he's now, part of the Red Heart organization, which, does great compilation albums that give back to AIDS research. And now they're doing to AIDS charities. Now they're doing AIDS work and COVID work. And he is part of their new I keep saying part of like a crazy person. He actually A&R'd and is the producer and executive producer of their latest Red Hot and Free. Ladies and gentlemen, our friend and head of Peace Biscuit.
And we love Bill Coleman.
And partner to our Angelo.
And gorgeous and lovely and amazing. Yes. And I saw him when he used to play with Jody Watley.
Oh my God. And the Wonder Barn. We'll get into all of that. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Coleman.
Bill Coleman!
Hello.
What a coincidence, Bill. We were just talking about you.
Isn't it amazing how the world works like that? It's so New York.
Oh my God.
So New York.
The synchronicity of it all.
New York City. You talk about somebody, they appear. That's how it's supposed to happen.
Especially after the pandemic too, and you're just like, oh, good, you're alive. Thank you. Thank you so
some
much.
Of these bitches could stay disappeared. It's okay.
Right.
And then there's
I don't need to see every one of y'all.
No, I just
second.
need to see the people. Do you owe me money? And do I care about you? And then you can just be like, good, you're not dead. Keep it moving. All right.
So, Mr. Coleman.
Yes, dear.
Busy much? Most people during the pandemic like busy much?
Yeah. How's your sourdough bread company going there, Bill? Because that seems to be the only fucking thing you haven't done.
Right. Everybody else is falling apart during the pandemic. He's like, I've got a radio show.
Right. Hi, I have all the jobs.
Don't be mad. I had
never mad. This is a celebration.
Pull some stuff together. I had to pull some stuff together. I was, you know me. It's like I keep it quiet and then
boom.
Gotta lay it out there. So all good. I feel very blessed. I feel very fortunate. I'm happy to be working with folks. I'm happy to help some folks out during this time. It's been a crazy year and been worked on some side projects that I haven't even told. I worked with some folks, and we actually gave some money to some house music folks during the pandemic. Was kind of really
needed it. The community was hit really hard.
So I was really happy. It's called Club Culture Foundation. So I was really happy to be part of that. So we kind of quietly gave, it's like tens of thousands of dollars away to some people in the business, artists, producers, DJs, and stuff like that. So that happened really early on in the pandemic. And then, I get restless and I just couldn't sit around and Netflix and chill. I was kind of like, I need to do something. So in addition to just kind of plugging around here in the office, I was like, let's make a record. Let's finish making a record, really.
Right.
So I was really happy to kind of work on Red Hot and Free and call people up and, pulled some favors and did a lot of whining to some people.
Can I just say, I love that you're getting back into production, because to me, that is full circle Peace Biscuit. You know what I mean? The beginning, you left your dream job at Billboard to manage Delight, but you were doing a lot of production. And then you went really heavily into you DJ everywhere and managing, and you did production a little bit, but you've really come back to your production roots.
Which has been fun. It's like I feel like with most of the projects that I've ever worked on, I'm always either like co-producing or giving ideas or helping shape stuff or helping bring other people's ideas. So it's been a useful sort of reminding oneself of one's talents. It's like, I can
do that. I can do that.
I can do that.
Well,
so
let me just ask you, because the Red Hot organization certainly, and the Red Hot albums were a very dominant force in the 90s, in the beginning of I think the last one I remember is the Red Hot in Rio. Is that the last?
Well, the last one was in 2014.
Okay, because I saw the Red Hot and Fela at BAM. That was a great show. That was a great show, and the Red Hot in Rio as well. But they were definitely sort of a function and a reaction to the ongoing, but more in the forefront of AIDS crisis in the 90s. So what I wanted to know is, long story short, how did it resurrect again? How did it sort of come back as an album brand?
Well, Red Hot hasn't gone away. They've been making, this is like, I think this Red Hot and Free is their 20th.
It's the 20th.
album. So they haven't gone away. It's just that certain albums are very niche, so you may not have heard of them, but they've been here. The great thing about John Carlin, who is my boss and sort of one of the founders of Red Hot, is that he always wanted this business to go out of business.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And he's thankful that we're still here in order to be able to help. But the whole idea was that it wouldn't be needed. Unfortunately, it's still needed. So I feel
more than ever still.
100%. So with Red Hot and Free, I started working there at 2018. They hadn't really done a dance-oriented record since Red Hot and Dance, which was with George Michael and Too Funky, and that was
their second album. That was after it was Red Hot and Blue, and that's the beginning.
Right.
So they hadn't really done a dance-centric record. So that was more kind of where I was leaning in, sort of, where my roots are. So I was like, let's do a dance record. And so that's kind of, it started out as a seed of an idea, and it sort of grew and morphed over the last couple of years. And the pandemic just really helped me fine-tune the idea and the concept and getting the art together and just figuring out what's going to be on it. I mean, there's a couple of things that didn't happen that I really wanted. There's a couple of people that I wanted on it that didn't make it.
Like who?
Because she's like, this tea is hot. Let me pour the tea.
No. You know what? No, honestly, it's not. I swear, it's not in terms of that, because I'm always fascinated. And it was something I was going to ask you. I'm always fascinated about. Now, I'm a coffee drinker, my love. I'm a coffee drinker. I'm always fascinated by the ones that got away, like people you've always wanted to interview, people you've always wanted to work with. So without being, it's not a bitchy question.
No, it's all good. I'm just being silly. I really wanted King Princess, and she turned us down, unfortunately. Maybe we'll get her for another comp. Really wanted Janelle Monáe. Couldn't find them. They were in the wind. No one could get an answer. Those were my two main. I thought that I really wanted Janelle for this. But maybe, if I keep saying it over and over, and Janet Jackson was the other one that really tried. Courtney.
I tried.
Really did.
I made the connection with the people. I really wanted that one to happen.
Oh, of course.
And the mix that he had, that he saw, it's so good. It's so good. It's so good. It's just like, guys, like,
oh, good. Now you'll just have to hear that mix on my new radio show every Friday night.
from 10 to 1 and repeating from 2 to 5.
Segue.
Channel 312.
Andy Cohen's Kiki Lounge.
Channel 312.
There you go. So you won't hear it on Red Hot and Free, but you will hear it mixed in at some point.
How excited are you to have everything come to you suddenly having a radio show?
It's kind of nuts and completely unexpected. Mm-hmm. It's super fun. I mean, as you know me, I'm always listening to music, and there's always so much out. So it's fun and I haven't I've literally not DJ'd in a year. Y'all were trying to get me up on.
I was like, come on, dude. I was trying to get him to, because he has the full setup. I was like, you could be doing full live shit. He was like, no, I'm not doing that.
I'm not. No.
He was like, no.
I'll let y'all do that. So it's very new. So hopefully folks will like it. And I'm trying to mix it up. You're not going to please everybody. And I'm not trying to, it's not all deep house. It's not all pop house. Just trying to mix things up and give a few exclusives and some things like that. So I'm just saying, it's super exciting.
Is it always going to stay in a dance vein, or are you going to have your nights where you'll have an alternative night and you just do all alternative?
Well, part of my conversations with the producer were that I really wanted to contribute an hour to the daytime set, because I'm doing Friday nights, so it needs to be more dance and stuff like that. But
absolutely,
I was like, I want to do 70s AM radio theme, or that. And so every month I'm given an hour.
Nice.
To do something separate from dance that will run during sort of the daytime.
Well, I mean, I think that's always been I was telling Courtney, one of the things that makes me excited about my friends and people I know, I'm always excited when I know people who have big ears, literally and figuratively. And I think one of the things that's great, Courtney's like that. I hope I'm like that, though I have my shit I won't listen to. And I've never, as long as I've known you, I am never less than amazed at you like that? You listen to that? You know that one? So that, if you're bringing that to your radio show, I'm hoping that that's one of the things, because that if you can guide people to listen, it's like if you build it, they will come.
I'm going to tell you right now what's going to happen.
We've been encouraged to play things that people don't know.
Oh,
So,
good.
I've been encouraged, but you also know that
doesn't always work.
So you have
Absolutely.
there has to be a balance. So
right.
I would love to just be like, I'm just going to play 3 hours, the thing nobody knows.
Right.
And like, it's going to be crickets. So
and then they're going to be like, no one's listening. Right.
And no one's listening and you've
And here's the latest, and here's the last Can record. And I will play it and I'll be back in an hour.
I am going to tell you what's going to end up happening for you though. That your daytime hours are going to get expanded, because the thing about you, and when you step outside of dance and you start playing the kind of, like, people do not realize when you say that, the vast amount of knowledge you have and where it's going to come.
Well, that's the real fun part for me. So I've already done my first hour one. And my first hour one, I literally just finished it last night.
Nice.
I'm super excited about it. And it's, you know me well. It's like, it's 90s girl power pop is going to be my first one. So we got Pre-Summer and Cole and Liz Fair and
Imani Coppola.
That's the first one. So that's what I mean by like we're being encouraged to kind of play other things.
But that's great.
That's a fun daytime mix.
And let me just tell you something. That is going to be the one, because the dance is always going to be fierce. When mark my words, that's going to be the one. That's going to be the one. That's going to be the one.
Nothing's ever given.
No, it's not. But we didn't know this is coming. So you also have to manifest, right? You have to like the fact that we're so happy you're here. This is our 50th show. This is our thank you, and this is our 2nd anniversary.
Isn't that crazy? Congratulations. Like a moment for you guys. Stick-to-itiveness. You guys stuck to it through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Y'all always got a lot to say. So not even a pandemic has shut y'all up.
Nope.
Not at all. It made it worse, in fact. We were so happy to have the masks off. We just wanted the fucking
We were like, there's something. Listen, we went through shit audio, sound like we're still working. We're getting new equipment. But we were like, we're gonna keep going. And here we are 2 years later, fully gagged, like we're on a new network and sky's the limit. That's how I see it.
Yeah,
growth.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to bring it back real quick to the Red Hot record. If you could just talk about who's on it. I'd just be curious.
Oh, yeah. So Red Hot and Free, which comes out July 2nd, has... Who's on it? It has JD Samson and her new group called Crickets. And it has Sam Sparrow. It has Ali X. It has Alternate. It has Billy Porter. It has Titus Burgess, Amanda Lepore.
Oh, wow. Wow, this is a gamut,
Bright Lights on it.
Sophie Tucker,
obviously. And I'm doing Miriam, one of the first singles.
Which is out now, guys.
Stuff on it. Yeah, it's totally out right now. Who else? The Aces, Louis the Child, Foster the People. Yeah, it's a good mix of things. The intention really was to have a sort of an inclusive dance party. So like and it's 2 discs, it's 2 albums. So the first half is a little bit more funky vibey. The second half gets a little bit more big roomish, but not too much. So you can kind of pluck it in the front, you can pluck it in the back. My whole thing is like, if you like at least one song on there, I've done my job. Like that's sort of how I approached it. But it's got a little bit of everything for everybody. And to me, it's a sort of record that you kind of just put on and play in the background, or you can put on and you can dance to it. It's like, it's supposed to serve multi-purposes. So
well, you have. I hear Foster the People. I immediately think like sort of pop rock kind of stuff, and then Sophie Tucker is obvious, and you have the Billy Porter. We were just talking about Pose. I mean, you've got people who are of the moment very much, and then people who there is a nostalgia factor to it, which is fantastic. Which is fantastic because we like that. People like to be reminded. Dance music is very often, at least for me, taking you back to a specific place. So it sounds great.
It's supposed to be a feel-good record. It's supposed to feel good. And thematically, most of the lyrical themes are sort of positive or empowering, that sort of thing. Like, we have Cakes to Killa with a Honey Dijon remix. And, so a couple of these mixes and stuff have been released before, but you may have missed them the first time around. So it's a combination of some original stuff done, recorded specifically for the album, some remixes that you may have missed. Plus, we did some sort of re-edits and remixes specifically for the project. So it's it's a little.
Are you pressing it on vinyl?
It looks like we are pressing on vinyl.
Because I know for Record Store Day, the first album, Red, Hot, and Blue, is having a vinyl release this year.
I know, and I have copies coming here for you.
I also told my record store to, like my local shop.
They're already sending me some.
I told them to order it for the Store for People. I think it was, to me, I had to explain to them, because he showed me the list of, he said, is there anything that you feel like I should just have here for Record Store Day? And that was one of the ones. And I told him the significance of that record, why it was important. It's the first of its kind. And the songs. And I was like, you need to have this. People will buy this.
It was one of the first, if not the first charity album.
Yeah, Yep. It was. It definitely was. And all those songs stand up. I mean, they all stand up.
Netta, I Got You Under My Skin is still, listen, that is still my don't get me. And how about Sinead, You Do
Sinead's book is,
I'm ready to read it.
No,
I know that, and that's your good Judy. That's your good Judy. And she's the one who's got some shit to say that I'm very, very interested in.
Documentary that's being worked on, and I was just interviewed for it last week.
There's a really great review of that book, actually, I think in the Times today, and it says something, I mean, not to go, but it reminds you that, she was saying things that were absolutely right, and that when women talk about mental illness, is seen as weakness, and when men come clean about their mental illness, it's strength. And she was completely, it's so the impact she had. I mean, the impact it's to this day. Yeah. I mean, to this day, every time a pretty girl is willing to make themselves super tough like that, that's Sinead. That's Sinead.
I'm happy she's getting her, history's reading everything correctly now.
Right. Absolutely.
They didn't for quite a while. So I'm happy for her. Book's out. They're working on a documentary right now. I know she has some new music coming later on this year.
Good.
Good.
Can we talk about another woman in your life?
Who's that?
Well, the icon of my universe.
Oh my God.
One Baltimore music diva.
Oh God, I thought he was going to say Madonna again.
No, he knows that's not. I love me some Madonna.
No, Madonna and I are on a break.
You're on pause, right?
I can't deal with the fuckery of what's going on over there, so I act like it's not happening. I'm talking about the legendary Ultra Nate that you have been managing and working with for. Congratulations, 31 years. 31 years. And you
just reminded me.
What do you think
You started when you were 10, Bill. It's okay.
No, I didn't, actually. I am not ashamed of my age. I let everybody know. I rep for the AARP crowd.
Me too.
Me too, baby.
What do you think the secret is to the success of your management relationship with her? Because you've really guided her in a way different than a lot of dance artists. She has full albums. Has had full albums from
on
the
her
beginning.
10th right now.
She has worked with a variety of everybody in the music industry. Her level of fans, it's really surprising who loves Ultra Nate. And you've really made sure to just always package everything the way every artist does at a label putting out a record. Not the way sometimes, with dance albums and dance artists, they don't really care about the pictures too much. It's not really a full campaign. What is the secret to you having a dance artist be that viable, who still her only job is she is a DJ and she is a dance artist?
Gotta remind folks that.
There's no day job. And we're talking now a full career about to release a 10th album this summer.
Yeah. I feel like, fortunately, we met each other when I was at Billboard. So I was able to see sort of the arc of how artists generally were treated, or what was necessary for you to be taken seriously and credibly. So I basically just kind of applied that knowledge when I started to work with her. The beauty of sort of working with a Delight and an Ultra at the same time is that you get to see where the money's spent and how people spend it.
Right.
And then you realize that some folks ain't getting the same thing.
Right.
Doesn't mean that they're not worthy or their music's of any less value, but you see where the priorities go. So I think seeing that very early on definitely influenced sort of this idea, like, you have got to, as an artist, sort of separate yourself from sort of everyone else that's doing this. With all due respect, I love all my dance divas and all my house divas and your Liz Terez's and your Adivas and all these ladies. But like, in order for you to kind of differentiate yourself from that, you have to kind of like come with it. So that's why we always kind of approach things. And whether it's, unfortunately being here in New York, I know so many photographers and makeup artists and, and if you look at the funny thing about looking at, her catalog 30 years on, and if you look at the art and the photography and stuff, a lot of these people have gone on to work with crazy people, and we work with folks first, and then they sort of like,
blow up, right?
Just kind of gone on. Well, they're super talented, so it's at some point they're gonna, find their thing. So I feel like it's if you look at her catalog from that perspective, additionally from music as well, but if you look at it almost from an artistic perspective, you can also see a little bit of a thread of New York from that art, hair, makeup sort of thing too, because they've all kind of gone on and done kind of
it's almost like everybody went to college together. They all met at the same campus and then moved their way up. And that's when I look at, your Instagram and your Facebook stuff, or just knowing you start seeing, the same names, whether we were actually doing it, in as deep as New York is a very small town in a lot of ways.
It is. Especially the creative community.
The creative community. It really is. So it's like, oh yeah, that photographer. Oh yeah, that person. I ran into them. You just run into people all the time.
No, it was cool. I mean, also we were all young. So
yeah, it was fun.
Like mid-20s. So it wasn't a chore. It was kind of like, I have this project and you're the best that I know. So I want you to work on it. It's like,
right.
And also, fortunately, being able to work with major labels and stuff like that, we had budgets. So it was also a cool time to be able to like actually call your friends and be like, hey, I have a project and I have a little bit of money. I'd love to pull you into it. So there's a bit of that. And then just musically as well, very similarly, it's like, there's a great way to kind of work with brand new folks. The good thing about working with Ultra is that she takes her career seriously, but she doesn't take herself so seriously. Right. So it was very easy to do other things than just house music. And her sort of musical sort of cipher definitely includes more than just house music. So I think even just kind of connecting on that level was helpful in terms of, as you say, sort of making these albums and things. So like when you listen to her albums, they are literally albums and generally
literally albums,
concepts. So you may have some songs you like or don't like, but generally speaking, they were concepts or had ideas, and we really tried to give it lots of different flavors. And she's definitely more of a song stylist. Like you have to have songs that she sounds good on. So you can't just like, she's not like a
belt. No, she's not going to give you the screaming diva. What she does do well is she emotes and gives you what you need. You know what I mean? She just does. And she gives me what I need, honey.
It's no small feat to be a house music artist, to be a Black woman house music artist on a major label back then. That was a niche. It really was.
And she was signed through Warner UK. So it's like, it was there. And then the US company for the second album clearly tried to be like, make her an R&B artist,
It didn't. Thank you, Benny Medina. Yeah, quite more, I mean, we got some great songs out of it, but it was definitely one of those, like, trying to kind of push this woman into a box that it wasn't working. I mean, you remember Warner Brothers back then too, they were cranking. So the big art,
the machine, everything was the machine.
It was literally a machine. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, if you don't hit it, radio ain't hitting it. If radio don't like you, there was no internet.
Like, I wanted to just pick up something you said about a box, just because it's something that's always intrigued me when I talk to other artists or creative people or anybody. Has there been I mean, your tastes, like I said, are very Catholic, small c, not capital C. Though they might be Catholic, capital C too. I don't know.
Not anymore.
Yeah, recovering. Has there ever been an artist, or has there ever been anyone who's demurred at working with you because they have a preconceived notion of what you're going to bring to it?
Ooh, I think as a queer person of color in this music industry, people generally don't have an idea of what either that I'm capable or can do something, or so I feel, generally speaking, most of the artists that I've worked with know that I'm not that bitch, really, that I kind of like, I'm pretty straightforward when I work with people. Unfortunately, I've worked with a variety of people, even though that's sort of, most people know me for a couple of things, but I've actually been fortunate enough, like I managed Brooklyn Funk Essentials during the whole acid jazz thing. Like, people don't, you know, and everybody loves them, but I don't really get associated with them, even though I worked with them for 4 albums and did all their artwork and stuff like that. So I feel like the people that have we've kind of chosen to kind of work with each other, we were sort of destined to do so. Even the ones that ended badly, I feel like we were destined to do what we were supposed to do at that time. But I also, just kind of being in the business, I'm often not given the, how do I say this? I'm not really, people don't necessarily expect me to kind of know anything.
No, I mean,
I get that. No, I dealt with that. I dealt with that at Columbia when in the beginning, being Black and gay, and I was always out in myself. It was almost like I had to speak louder to be like, I actually know what I'm talking about. Well, I actually go out more than you people here. I know what people are listening to and what you guys are looking at analytics on a piece of paper. I'm telling you, I know what is happening.
But also the assumption that because you are, you know, that you only listen to this because you are that. Yep. You know, that you only listen to, you can only do dance music because you are this. You only listen to alt rock because you are this, you know?
The irony of all that is that my career, I reviewed all the singles in the magazine, except for country. So the irony is that you all used to send me all of your music and want me to write about it. Right. Or good things, or, you know, it's like, I have a plaque for Sinead O'Connor and B-52s because I wrote about those records before any of y'all did. Like, it was one of the first people. But like I said, it's like, it's easier. So once the billboard went away, it was much easier for people to sort of slot you into the dance box, which I'm happy to be in. It's all good. But they all of a sudden forget, like, oh yeah, this is the person that we were all pitching Chris Isaak records too, and the replacements and things like that. Like, you cared about my opinion then, but now that, you know, once the marquee is gone, or, you know, the picture in the magazine's gone, all of a sudden people forgot that they cared about my opinion on these things. So that's what I mean by, like, it's like, oh wow, okay, all right, well. Okay. 6 months ago, you guys were all asking me to, you know, highlight this, you know, rock record,
but now all of a sudden, because I don't have a business card that says Billboard on it, you don't think I know anything about rock music.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Well, you know, you and Neil Tennant are goals for all writers, you know, because, you know, he's former pops or smash hits, and so you're writer goals, you know, like you can become a star from starting from the lowly,
I want to rewind something.
Hold on. In terms of writing, just hold on a second. I did actually, when you talk about having to tap back into your skills, I recently actually had to start writing again as well. Nice. I just wrote the liner notes for a new Shep Pettibone compilation, which is coming out in August.
Nice.
And I hadn't kind of done any deep writing or researching in a long time. So that was also like, talk about dusting off skills. I was like, oh my God, like I haven't done this.
You're like, what? You're like, what did I say? It's all coming full circle. And speaking about full circle.
Yes.
I want to talk about the fact that you music supervised 2 movies that really kind of symbolize a time in New York City and are considered like New York City classic films, Party Girl and Party Monster. How no.
Marry that. Just saying. I'm so happy that they're cult films. Everybody loves them now. But no one went to go see them. When
but except like a lot of films like that, home video and cable gave them a new life. And now those films mean something to a lot of people, and especially Party Girl. Mm-hmm. I saw Party Girl.
Everybody loves Party Girl.
Literally 5 times in the movies.
I've never seen it.
People quote me dialogue.
What?
Everyone.
How have you never seen Party Girl? Okay, I'm going to curse you out in a minute. Let me just say.
Maybe I have. I don't know. I don't remember. I really don't remember.
No. You stop talking. I cannot believe you just said that.
You
are in New York, but she's a New York chick.
Dude, no one's. I mean, that movie was.
No, her though. You wouldn't expect Amy to have seen Party Girl.
Amy was a busy woman. She is a busy woman. She's raising children. Like
this was in like 1990.
Time for this. Film.
Does it count that Parker Posey came to a birthday party of mine?
There you go. No.
Right.
I'm sorry. This is why this show's a mess, because we go on a tangent.
Party Girl.
No. So how did you end up with Party Girl? Because to me that is a
I hope you know
soundtrack.
that I'm just going to go crawl into a hole and die. I hope you're happy.
No, what you're going to do is get online and you're going to watch Party Girl this weekend.
No shame.
That is an aside. Now, if you said you hadn't seen Party Monster, I would give you a pass.
I've seen Party
Monster. They're cult films. They're cult films.
They are cult films. Yeah. But that soundtrack to me is great. And how did that come about? You working and Watermelon Woman.
Oh yeah, there's a couple films, and of course my phone is ringing right now. Sorry about that. Hold on 1 second, please.
It's real life shit.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. That's all right.
So, my music supervisor career was very happenstance. It's sort of like it's similar to what we were discussing before, like friends that know friends were working on their very first film. And a lot of the scenes were about club scenes and dance music. There was a DJ in it, and my friend knew one of the producers and co-writers, and they were looking for somebody to help with the music and recommended me. And it was one of those cases of like, oh, I read the script. I'm like, I just knew what songs to put in. It just made sense. Like I could read it and be like, this would go cool here. This would go there, cool there. And I just had to get a crash course in music supervising and did a lot of begging. Fortunately, again, just, this is so 360. It's about relationship and who you know, and people were willing to help me. And,
right.
I mean, if you watch the movie, there's like Run DMC's in there, Dawn Penn, there's like some big records in there.
Yeah, that's the thing.
We got for like $5.
That's why when I ask you, because you look back at that time in New York and the music that's in those films, it's just kind of like clearing shit now. Right now, people would be pulling their hair out trying to clear a third of those songs.
There's no way they could get some of those songs for the budget that we had. I mean, we had literally had like $5. So I feel fortunate that, films like that, Party Monster, All Over Me,
right?
Brother to Brother.
I love Brother
Watermelon Woman. Yeah. Like these are such crazy, to me, it's funny now because at the time, like those films did not do well at all. Right. But like now they're all at the festivals and playing at them, and
their theme is seminal works.
Like
right.
Okay. I mean, I just love that. I love that they have had a life past their original sort of releases, and that people still find some value and love in them, and I, in terms of the music specifically, I felt like I did my thing. And then when I watch them now, I feel very like, okay, this is not embarrassing. Party Girl music still sounds hot. Party Monster music still sounds hot.
Right.
All Over Me music still sounds hot. I feel good in that sort of like, okay, this is good. This is good. I'm not embarrassed by these soundtracks. I feel like we did good work when we were in that zone in the 90s.
So as we try to like wrap this up, what's next for Peace Biscuit?
Sleep.
No, here's the thing. You don't have time for sleep.
No, I know.
You don't even have time for sleep anymore.
You have to explain to me the derivation of that name.
Of Peace Biscuit? That's so
Yeah.
funny. People rarely ask me that, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything specific, but I was inspired. I used to live on the Lower East Side. And remember ABC No Rio?
Yeah.
Yes.
Punk club. And at the time, I was thinking about leaving Billboard. I needed to kind of figure out sort of a name for my company and stuff, and I'd been doing remixes and stuff at that point. And I used to love the name of this group, not necessarily their music, but you remember a group called Electric Love Muffin?
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's sort of there's two groups, and there's a punk group's name that I really liked a lot. That's so funny that no one's ever asked me this one.
See, did I make up for the fact that I didn't say party fucking girl?
That's so funny.
Jesus.
I was
Thank God. Oh, fuck.
I was walking down Rivington Street, leaving my place. I used to live on Rivington, walking past ABC No Rio, and this guy had this jacket on in front of me. And it's a punk group called the Gorilla Biscuits.
I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. So I had already had Electric Love Muffin. I was like, I need something like Love Muffin or something like that. And then when I saw this guy with this jacket, I was like, biscuit. And then changed love to peace. And then you got the biscuit.
Boom.
So it's very kind of punky, rocky inspired.
Yeah.
Lower East Side.
Who doesn't want peace? Who doesn't enjoy biscuits?
There you go.
Okay. Are you going to DJ this summer? Do you plan on making a return?
I am coming back on Sunday. Not Sunday.
Sunday. At Englishtown, New Jersey.
And Sunday at Sprats on the Water in Long Island. Tonight is Sapphire, the Cover Girls, Niobe, and TKA at Sprats.
Someday. No, I'm just kidding. I start DJing again in person in July. I will be back at Dreamland Roller Disco.
Yay.
I'll start doing a couple of those Fridays. I'm DJing out in Fire Island in August at the Ice Palace, which I've never done actually. So
wow! I'll come out for that.
We're already out, Courtney.
I'm supposed to be maybe DJing the Fly Sundays again.
Okay, at that spot down at the place that's indoor, outdoor.
Yeah, at the Monarch Hotel.
Yeah, I think it was the Monarch Hotel.
And then a couple friends of mine, Patrick and Justin, are doing a party, I think it's a traveling party called Switch. And they've asked me to spin. So I should be popping back. I'm a little nervous just because I feel a little wonky in terms of that. But,
And that's muscle memory. That's shit.
Know. It's
the thing about you is you're an energy person. As soon as the people are in that room and you make that connection, you're going to be it's going to be like, man, listen.
Yeah.
Riding a bike.
Yeah, it's riding a bike with 20 extra pounds.
Riding a bike with 20 extra pounds with people watching you.
Right.
As you get
on and off the bike. So that's what I was kind of like. I'm just gradually. I have not, as Courtney knows, I've not kind of like gone back into being the social thing. I've not been hanging out with folks yet. I'm just sort of like, first, let me land all these big planes that I needed to just land. So a couple things are landed, so I feel comfortable. So June is sort of the month where I just ease back in.
Right.
And then so I'm a little bit ready to kind of be in the club spaces in July.
I have to be honest, I'm not ready for that shit. I'm like, give me a minute. Like, this has been all too much. I will see you guys when I'm in. And I'm already seeing everybody acting off the hook. I'm like, I'll see you guys when I see you.
Don't get me started. There's a lot of acting off the hook, and it seems like everybody seems to have forgotten the Black Lives Matters from last summer because some of people's hiring practices this year seem to not have changed that much. But that's another topic for another.
We'll bring you back for our 55th. We could just add a whole other segment going, and Bill says, and we'll
trust and believe. I you.
You know what I'm saying?
All of you.
And I feel like that is the perfect note. We're gonna.
That's it. That's it, baby.
Thank you, Bill Coleman. Thank you so much.
Thank
you so much.
I can't wait to see you in person, seeing as how I work right around the corner from your house.
Thank you, Pantheon Music Podcast, for having us. Thank you for everybody listening. Thank you for people who've listened to us from show one, for rocking with us. For everybody new who's listening to us, this is the fuckery. This is us. Welcome aboard.
Happy Pride, everybody.
Happy Pride, everyone.
Yeah.
We're so happy. This has been amazing.
Please.
And thank you guys so much.
Bye-bye, everyone. Yay.
It's NFL draft season, and that means it's time to start thinking about fantasy football. FantasyPoints.com features industry-leading experts and prognosticators using proprietary hand-charted data to help you score more fantasy points. FantasyPoints.com is the place to go for whatever kind of fantasy football you play. Whether you play fantasy football, daily fantasy sports, or do a little bit of everything, Fantasy Points has the meticulously researched content to guide you to victory. And why wait for the fall? Fantasy Points also covers the new spring football league, the UFL. Join the guru, John Hansen, Scott Barrett, Joe Dolan, and other massive names in the fantasy football universe with an exclusive offer. Use code Pantheon for 15% off any Fantasy Points package, including the all-in package, with access to every article, tool, and data nugget that Fantasy Points has to offer. That's FantasyPoints.com and code Pantheon for 15% off at Fantasy Points. FantasyPoints.com, code Pantheon. Score more fantasy points.